Experts say more American adults are being diagnosed with diabetes, which could pose other health problems. A new long-term study from Sweden finds men who develop diabetes in middle age appear to have an increased risk for developing Alzheimer's. The research included more than 2,200 men who had glucose testing at age 50 and then were followed for about 30 years. The reason behind the link is unclear, but researchers say it's possible that insulin problems damage blood vessels in the brain. Well, a group of Southern California ducklings are lucky to be above ground this morning. About 1 dozen of them fell down a storm drain yesterday. Look at those little guys. They actually seem kind of cozy, but their nervous mother watched and waddled as an animal control officer plucked them out. Look at her. You gotta feel bad for her.
She's looking for help.
She's
just
following.
Like,
oh, that's me? Darling.
That's
After the rescue, the mom followed her rescuer and the little ones back to safety. That's quite a brood.
Just like
it's
that.
Like 15.
Mom,
so cute. My goodness, it's so cute.
There you go. Well, the Olympics have sparked a worldwide protest. Why one official says it can destroy the Olympic spirit.
Plus, what do Utahns think about the raid on this FLDS ranch in Texas? We're taking a closer look. Those stories and a lot more still to come in a live report. You're watching Eyewitness News.
You're watching KSL 5 Eyewitness News HD Daybreak.
Good Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kerry Barrett.
And I'm Scott Haas. It's one of the most sacred and holy places for the FLDS faithful, but now new documents revealing what really goes on inside.
And as that move suggests, this investigation is only getting bigger, and it's also getting the attention of more and more people across the nation. The question is, though, what do Utahns think about this ordeal? An exclusive Dan Jones poll gives a little bit of insight onto that. Nicole Gonzalez joining us now with some of the results. These are interesting.
In my next report.
It's not the first time that Utah authorities have faced a little criticism on that. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. Nicole, thanks. All right, members of the FLDS faith in both Arizona and Texas are reacting to the raid there.
If there's abuse, that should be investigated and taken care of, but I do not see how you can use that to justify taking 416 children out of their homes and away from their families.
Polygamous families in Colorado City saw a similar raid back in 1953, and they say many families now separated in Texas are the same families that were separated decades ago. Officials in southern Utah close to the Colorado City's Twin City Hilldale say residents of those cities are nervous over the actions in Texas. Tell you what, that is just a nightmare.
It just keeps getting worse.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
you think the first day you're thinking, okay, they'll get through this. Oof.
It's not. It's taking days and kids. And oh, yeah, it's just a nightmare out there. All right, 5:34, 30 degrees. The only thing we're thankful for, Grant, is that the weather isn't compounding the issue, at least here in Utah. I'm not sure about the rest of the country, but here it's looking good. All right, we'll see you, Grant. Thank you. A judge sets a May 12th court date for the man accused of killing his estranged wife in a church parking lot. David Ragsdale is facing charges of aggravated murder in the shooting death of Christy Ragsdale in Lehigh 3 months ago. Christy's mother hopes he'll never be free again.
I am willing to expend every effort to make sure that Dave Ragsdale is never out of jail so that he cannot kill anyone else's daughter or mother. And I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure that that doesn't happen.
The May 12th court date is a preliminary hearing. The man accused of killing a BYU student is pleading not guilty. Joel Courtney could face the death penalty if he's convicted of kidnapping and murdering Brooke Wilberger. Wilberger disappeared in May of 2004 while visiting her sister in Oregon, but the searchers never found her body. Courtney is already serving time in a New Mexico prison for an unrelated abduction and rape. He was extradited to Oregon for this case. British Prime Minister Gordon Brown announces he'll skip the opening ceremonies this summer at the Olympics. Human rights activists have put some pressure on him, challenging him to take a stand on China's crackdown in Tibet. Brown said his decision was not aimed at sending a message to the Chinese government. Still, though, he's asking other world leaders to join him. The Prime Minister's office says he still plans to attend the closing Olympic ceremony. The president of the International Olympic Committee warned today the spirit of the Olympics will be lost if individuals or groups politicize the games. IOC President Jacques Rogue made the comments at an organized meeting in Beijing.
If we let athletes or coaches or officials
use the opening of the closing ceremony or the podium ceremony as a way to express these divides, this will be the end of the spirit of the Olympic Games.
So far, of course, the Games have been met with a lot of hostility and violence all around the world during the torch relay. In fact, yesterday that relay was in San Francisco, and the route was altered and shortened because of worries of violence and protest. Citizens of Nepal are lining up today to vote. They're voting in that country's first election in 9 years. They're electing a 601-member special assembly, and that assembly is expected to write a new constitution, abolish a 240-year-old Hindu monarchy, and serve as parliament for at least 2 years. That vote is the centerpiece of a 2006 peace deal to end a 10-year civil war. 4 Palestinians are wounded in the latest Israeli airstrike on the Gaza Strip. That airstrike hit a motorcycle and a car last night. The wounded included a militant and 3 civilians. An Israeli army spokesperson says the target was militants involved in an attack earlier in that day when a Palestinian gunman killed 2 Israeli civilians. The 5-year anniversary of the fall of Saddam Hussein proved deadly despite attempts to curb violence. Baghdad police say an explosion at a funeral in Sadr City killed 6 and wounded at least 14 others. Security sources say that brings the total now to 23 dead and 86 injured just yesterday. This is despite vehicle bans and curfews aimed at preventing that unrest from spreading. It's 5:43 right now, 30 degrees. Straight ahead, could your iPod be the secret of life?
Right, coming up, religion in the palm of your hand.
We are on to our 3rd day of cancellations now for American Airlines. 900 flights, in fact, as that MD-80 fleet is re-inspected. Out of the 300 planes being looked at, only 60 have been cleared to fly. The airline says about 120 are being worked on, and the same amount are still waiting on inspection.
And with all the other airlines that have filed for bankruptcy with the rising fuel prices, and then you add this to the mess.
It's been a mess for months, you know, and it's just getting worse.
5:46, in about 20 minutes.
All right, it's 5:49 right now. Straight ahead, a deeper meaning through electronics. We'll tell you why some say folks are finding God through their iPod. That story's next.